So, Michael, what are some things that slap for you in life?
Oh, things that slap. Oh, that's easy. Lasagna. Lasagna slaps.
Okay, Garfield. Welcome back to another episode of Starfield with Normal People. My name is Duane, and I am joined, as always, by my friend Michael. Michael, how are you today?
Oh, I'm mad.
You're mad? What?
I'm angry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm mad because video games are my favorite hobby and they make me really angry.
Your hobby is not actually video games. It's getting mad at video games. That's your hobby.
Yeah, and then I hit all caps and then I go on
course.
forums and Reddit, and months after a game has been released, my favorite thing is to talk about how much I don't like this game.
Exactly. And let me ask you something. Do you also create YouTube videos with incendiary titles about how bad something is?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Rage posting is all the rage.
Once you dive into it, you can't get away from it. It seems it's like it surrounds you and it sticks to you like napalm. It's horrible, like all this negativity.
And what's unfortunate too is like I see a lot of people talking about how they'll say tips for outpost building, and then YouTube will be like, "Oh, did you want to see Skyrim sucks and is the worst game ever made?" Mm-hmm. No, that's not what I was looking for, but all right, I'll check it out. You know,
I think this all boils down to Mark Zuckerberg, right? Can we just say that he is the the person to blame completely for all this mess?
Definitely his fault. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have any evidence, but
he's out there surfing in Hawaii, you know, looking all cool in his wetsuit and
in his way too much sunscreen
and his barbecue sauce. What kind of? He loves the barbecue sauce.
Did he?
What is it? Smoking Joe's or something? I don't know. He's
barbecue
obsessed with
sauce.
Yeah, who cares?
Okay.
Exactly. You're mad because the YouTube algorithm actually kind of bumped our video, like randomly bumped our last podcast.
Yeah.
And so we got probably 2 to 3 times more comments than we typically do.
Yeah, well, you and I were talking about how that's how you know a video is doing pretty well is you start to see negative comments popping up.
Right.
And you're like, oh, more people are seeing this. Okay.
Hey, man. Any attention, even negative attention, is still attention. Bring it on.
That's right.
It's the first rule of advertising, right? Like even negative stories are still advertisement for your company.
Yeah.
No, but
it's
I mean,
true.
I think there were a lot of positive comments as well. I mean, I don't want to like shy away from those, but
I'll say just up front that I will absolutely talk to anyone who is level-headed about what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So if you come to me and you say, I didn't like Starfield, oh, why not? Because of this and this and this. That's fine. I love Starfield. There are valid reasons not to like Starfield. Yeah. And I recognize that.
Of course, we are not like blind to reality.
Yeah.
Did your rating for the game drop? You were at an 8 on episode like 3.
Yeah, when we first played it.
After 500 hours, where are you now? Let me ask you.
People are going to think I'm crazy.
They
But
are?
to me, yeah. I mean, Starfield is a 9 or a 10. And I'm not saying that it's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's a world that I like to be in and that I have not gotten tired of. I get tired of certain grinds. So if I get stuck in a grind, we talked about this, if I get stuck in a grind, I get a little bit tired of the game, and then I find something else to do. Mm-hmm. Or I play something else and I come back. I guess it remains to be seen if it's a 10. Because if I keep coming back to it year after year, that's a 10 to me. Mm-hmm. So I'll say solidly right now, it's a 9. I look at how many hours I've spent in it.
But now that leads us back to our YouTube comments. Hours do not define whether or not you like the game. That was a big argument, right?
That is true. Okay, so yes, for anyone that didn't hear last week's episode, we kind of joked, and it's funny to joke about. I still think it's funny. I think it's funny when people say this game sucks, and then you see they spent like 500 hours playing it.
Literally, we're not exaggerating, like 500 hours. Here was one I thought was interesting. It says, this is by Evil SSP, and they said, the gaming community as a whole needs to stop trying to snuff out negative reviewers. Feedback is feedback, and unless you just want to exist in an echo chamber, some of that feedback needs to be negative, because there's no such thing as a perfect game. The guy who plays 500 hours and then has negative things to say is the one that you probably should listen to, because they've invested the time needed to have a fair perspective on the game.
Yeah.
Space Cadet, our friend and fellow Discord member, addressed. Let me read what he said real quick. He said, most of us would generally agree with you here, but on the whole 500-hour negative review idea, I think we're more trying to hold people accountable to review it in a fair way. I don't care what someone says. 500 hours is a lot of hours, and yes, after 500 hours, you will get bored. Look, they're both right. You can play a game that you have a lot of criticisms toward for 500 hours and not love it. I get it. However, I think what we were saying is, in my experience in 30 years of gaming, or 40 maybe, 40, if a game sucks, listen, I got 5 hours, if that. If it's really, really bad, it's 5 minutes.
It does not take long.
Yeah, it's going to be 100 hours if I hate it, if I'm giving it a negative review. Now, some people are saying it's a 6.5 at best. I disagree with that. But I mean, again, I'm biased. I have a Starfield podcast.
The thing is, I think a lot of us are talking about two different things, because I think the reason we thought it was funny when we were talking about it is, I know for sure, I don't know if in this instance we were saying it, but I know we've talked about someone who plays for 500 hours and then says there's nothing to do in this game.
Right.
That to me is silly, because you there is things to do, but you did it. You did all of it. So congratulations, you won.
You done did it.
I think it's totally fair to have criticism. Lord Zupi said if someone plays 100 to 200 hours of the game and we're disappointed you don't believe them. No, I get it, because there's also that hope, right? You hope that it's good. Man, I played through the game Anthem. I really wanted Anthem to be something more, and it just wasn't. And it took me a long time. Like, I enjoyed it for the 30 hours of the game and then whatever. My point is, you can and should listen to those people, but I told them specifically, I told somebody in these comments, I will listen to you if you have criticism. But I literally had people commenting to me, whether on Reddit or YouTube, saying that if you like the game, you were tricked by marketing and you have cognitive dissonance. And it's just like, once you start talking that crazy talk, like you sound like an idiot. And I'm just like, okay, like there's no point in talking to someone like that. Even, hey, I agree with you. The game's not a 6.5, but this person saying that they played it a ton and it's a 6.5 to them, okay, I get it. Like, that's fine. And I understand that.
I think my main issue was there is no way, I think, and I speak for everybody on Earth who have played Starfield, that this game is mostly negative on Steam. Yet that is the current rating. So my thing is, why is it mostly negative? People are review bombing it because I don't know why. I mean, it's like a trendy thing to do, like, or what I said last week, which is it's not the perfect game for them. So ergo, it's trash.
Look at how impressionable people are just with everything on the internet. Like, anytime something catches heat, or you look at like Nickelback. I love making fun of Nickelback. It's hilarious. I don't love Nickelback.
Right.
But Nickelback never was as bad as the memes made them out to be.
Not even close.
It was just a meme.
And I'm not a Nickelback fan either by any stretch of that. But they're not, I mean, they've sold millions and millions of records. Same kind of thing, like by the metrics.
There's tons of songs on the radio that people don't know are Nickelback, are done by Nickelback. Actually, I have a friend, shout out to this friend, who loves Nickelback.
He has a Nickelback jacket.
I feel for him because now I love Starfield and Starfield is getting hate. I am not saying, by the way, that Starfield is the Nickelback of video games. And so...
Oh, if this catches on and you created this, I'll never let you live it down.
It's good our podcast is just got a little audience, a nice little audience.
Niche. It's niche.
So it's like popular to hate on Starfield, and here's what's so funny. Like, people just repeat. You can tell. You can see them repeating the same, like, talking points. Does the video game have a little bit of an issue with loading screens? Yes and no. We've talked about this. Some of the load screens were like, is that really necessary? It's not that bad, though.
I have had
it doesn't bother me.
No issue with it. There are many games that have terrible loading. This does not compare. There's some minor inconveniences and gripes with transitions and loading and animations and stuff, but it's
very minor.
It is like a 0.05% of your gameplay. Honestly, like I played yesterday and I was like, I spent so little time loading. I mean, granted, I was exploring on a planet or I was in a base or whatever, but...
No, it's not an issue at all. But my point is just that, like, I saw somebody say some dumb comment that was like, oh, so you're enjoying your load screen simulator? And I was just like, oh, right. I forgot that this is the first game ever to have loading screens.
You would think it was. The
would
outrage
think so.
and the shock at 2 seconds of loading. I mean...
Like, what?
Yeah, it's a non-issue. That is why we don't believe that it's mostly negative. I mean, because
No, it's just bandwagoning.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a 10. I'm probably more like at a 7.5, maybe an 8, personally. And I think because it is so young, I think once it comes into its own, gets a few more updates from BSG, then it's really going to come into its own. Bethesda Game Studios, BGS. Did I say that backwards? Yeah.
Since last week, we had quite a few people listening that disagreed with us.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you're here again and you're listening, just to be clear, like, when I personally say that people are just bandwagoning to hate on the game, I am not talking about any of you that have actual criticisms of the game. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that have no idea, they've never played it, they just hear things and they just jump on because it's a meme.
Yep, 100% agree with you. There was a comment that said, you don't get to release a game dead on arrival, then promise to make it worth the money over the coming years. All that counts is what's delivered on release day. Wrong. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077. Pretty much every AAA title that's been released.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I mean, they are rough. I mean, they get under the gun from the producer, from the studio. They need to get this game out and start earning some money. So it gets released before it's done. Heck, I worked on GoldenEye Rogue Agent. And I remember in that game, we found a bug that was game breaking. This was after, this was like the last possible minute, and there was some really cool stuff that was going to go into the game, but they had to backtrack to an earlier build because of that bug, and it eliminated all that cool extra content. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and that is, I don't agree with that statement whatsoever.
So not only is the statement objectively wrong, it's also wrong in the fact that this game was not dead on arrival. Let's stop talking in hyperbole. that is the biggest problem. I know, and it's like I remember my brother called out, like, my friend and I. My friend came to visit, and my brother was just listening to us talk about stuff. We're talking about games, we're talking about movies, we're talking about music. And after my friend left, my brother told me, he said, hey, when I was listening to you talk about stuff, I noticed that everything was awesome or it sucked. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And like, that's the
How
thing
old
is
were
like
you guys?
everything.
Like 10?
It was 20, early 20s.
Okay. Just trying to put it into context, because like when you're under, 15, everything sucks or is amazing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't even mind when people just say, well, it's a good game. It's not amazing. Mm-hmm. It's a good game. Okay, cool. I'll listen to that person more than the person that says it's the worst thing ever, or
Right.
it's totally broken. Is it a little broken? Hey, yeah, it's a little broken. It's a Bethesda game. Unfortunately,
I saw something today. It was a rant on Facebook about how the game is so broken. And guess what was broken in this person's game?
what?
It was like a video glitch of like part of New Atlantis was stuck to his ship. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that is what we used to call like a C bug. The game ships with a gazillion C bugs because they don't matter that much. They're minor inconveniences. An A bug is something that causes you to not be able to advance in the game. Those do exist in this game as well.
Right.
But to go onto Facebook and have like a two paragraph rant about how terrible the game is because of a minor graphics glitch. I mean, come on.
I haven't gotten that bug. A lot of people have not gotten that bug.
Mm-hmm.
A few people do, and then the video goes online, and everyone sees the video because it's the internet, and we all, like, everything gets signal boosted now. So like it has its glitches and it has its problems, but you know the term like the mid. Oh, it's mid.
Yeah.
The game is mid. What's funny about that term to me is mid is like middle, like it should be that it's mediocre.
Right.
But the term mid is now used for like it's just awful. It's just like
It's a big insult.
the way it's
Yeah.
used. Yeah, it's a huge insult. It's mid. There's just nothing there. It's like, I don't know if you were. This is me being old man yells at cloud, but like to me, if you were using mid correctly, it'd be like, oh, so it's like pretty good.
This was like back in the late '80s. Bad, Michael Jackson. It was bad, or bad dudes. It really meant, oh, that's totally bad. There was probably
bad.
a summer where we went around saying everything was bad, and we meant it was awesome.
Yeah,
It really didn't last that long, but
that did not last long.
yeah,
No.
mid feels like one of those things where it's probably not going to be around much. Like Fleek, Fleek came and went.
Yeah, Fleek came and
Thank
went
goodness.
fast. Yeah. Well, I want to talk the positive comments because there were some people who had never heard of us and they had never heard of our podcast, and this video was served up to them, and it was so nice to see a few comments coming in, like the Whiz Bang said, I'm very excited for survival mode. Been loving Starfield since launch. Only looks to get better from here. Thanks for the podcast. It's always the highlight of my week. Then we had UWYHL said, I love Starfield. It's refreshing to encounter other people actually appreciate its brilliance.
Right. Yeah, Telesto912 said, finally, I found some bros that aren't just sitting around and blanking on this game. You have some criticism, but you're not dwelling on it. Yeah, so we appreciate those kind of positive comments.
I tried telling people anytime they said how happy they were to see people being positive on the game because they like it, I tell them, you've got to go to our Discord because there are people, like it's just such an amazing group just enjoying the game. And every once in a while, we'll talk about some bugs, but it is the most positive group on the internet I have seen anywhere.
There were also a bunch of people in the YouTube comments that were totally wrong, and those were all the people that said eggnog was good. So I have to say that.
Yes.
To be fair, I have not had an eggnog in who knows how long. But it's just the name. I mean, you can't make a drink have the word egg in it without just cringing and getting nauseous.
I was going to say egg and also nog. Like,
Right.
What is that?
They need to rename it.
know.
They need to rename it like caramel sweetness, some kind of Starbucks name, and it would be delicious.
I was very happy to see the support for eggnog drinkers.
Let's get into our news and community items. Right off the bat, you made a new video this last week.
Yes, that's right. So it was sort of off the cuff. So for anyone that hasn't seen it, we'll put a link in the show notes. Basically, what it is it's partly machinima. So if anyone's not familiar, this used to be more popular. Like you can still find it in some circles. But
It was when On Fleek was popular.
yeah, around that same time, people would make little mini movies or short films or whatever in a video game. Starfield, because of convenience, lets you sprint everywhere, right? So you can just friggin' run wherever you're going, you're sprinting. And I did, for the most part, I did too, because it's just easier and faster. You just want to get there. I noticed that when I forced myself to slow down and actually just walk places, there was this really cool atmosphere that we are all running past.
I absolutely agree with you. You sent me the video.
Yep.
Said, check this out. And it had Hitman in the title. And I know you're a big Hitman fan. Vimeo does this weird thing where it won't let me max on my phone.
Yep, I know. Yep.
It's tiny. So I'm I'm doing some other things. I'm kind of watching it a little bit here and there. I'm like, oh, this is Hitman. I literally thought you uploaded Hitman video.
Yeah, because you don't play Hitman, so you weren't familiar.
Yeah, and then I watched it later on my PC full screen with all the sound effects and music and everything, and I was blown away how cool it was. And you're exactly right. The mere act of walking around gave it this completely different atmosphere, which was much more menacing, much more Hitman-like, which I thought was really cool. It was clever on your part.
I was like, man, there's so much atmosphere in this game, and you can make it so cool. I look at some games that force you to slow down. Mm-hmm. Tons of games do this. I haven't played the new Spider-Man, but I know even like Spider-Man, you zip around the city, but then there are parts where it makes you walk through a rooftop party and talk to people. It forces you to slow down and take in the detail and the atmosphere. Gears of War had, lots of battle, shooting, and then it would have these segments where you would just walk through a hallway and you'd see the dust falling off the wall or whatever, off the ceiling. Mm-hmm. So Starfield, I almost feel like the fact that it gives all this choice to players, you don't have to slow down. You can just go. You can slow down if you want, but almost nobody does. And then they don't see the atmosphere, and then they say that the game is soulless. And it's like, is it soulless, or did you just run past everything?
And I wonder if the vehicles or the travel improvements that they're going to implement will also change that feeling as well, because I'm assuming maybe there's a planet vehicle that you can ride, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
So that'll speed things up. How will that affect the atmosphere?
That could be tricky for the atmosphere. It could be cool, if it's wind blowing in your hair or whatever. Mm-hmm. If the travel, we've talked about the idea of having your ship traveling, you getting up and moving around your ship while it travels in space.
Right.
That would be sort of an example of slowing things down, where it's moving and then you're working at the crafting table on your ship while you're traveling. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that would be interesting. This is what the video is. Basically, I'm just going around doing side missions, but turning it into sort of a cool little short film. I just wanted to make a stylized version of sort of a playthrough. You sort of get the essence of these little quests without seeing just a straight walkthrough. Mm-hmm. I don't know. If there was a setting in the game to make it so that my default was walking and then I had to press another button to run, I actually think I would turn that on. Because I always have to hold the joystick just a certain way.
Right. You're balancing the joystick in an awkward position to get it to make you walk.
It's really easy to end up running by accident.
That's the beauty of the keyboard, is caps lock or something, whatever it is, to toggle running.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of all the hate that we were talking about earlier, Starfield won innovative gameplay for the Steam Awards. And boy, oh boy, did that piss a lot of people off, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I saw a few articles and I was like, I thought it would win. I'm pretty sure last episode I was saying that I thought it was totally innovative compared to anything else that I played in 2023. There were a lot of sequels. There were a lot of games that did a lot of the same things that we've seen before. But Starfield did a lot of new things, a lot of innovative things. So I was like, this is not a meme. This is not a joke of award. I think it is a valid award. And I think it was well-deserved.
It's weird. I could see people doing it as a joke or as a meme just to make people mad, but while at the same time, maybe that was their intention. But I still do think that it deserves it.
You're saying people joke voted, but I don't think that's true because look at the other winners. Like Baldur's Gate is the game of the year. Clearly, it's the game of the year, and clearly
Right,
that's what
true.
everyone voted for and won.
Yeah.
No one's cynical about that game. Not no one,
No.
but very few people are compared to Starfield.
There was one award that I agreed was a joke, though, and I think this is what throws it off,
Okay.
is that Red Dead Redemption 2 got the Labor of Love award. And so the problem with that is Labor of Love is for games that continually get updates, and are continued to be built on by the developers. Whereas this is a game that just came out and it hasn't been touched since.
And there have been no DLCs whatsoever and no major updates.
I think not for a long time.
Yeah.
That's why some people are saying that these awards could be memes or jokes because this one didn't deserve it. But you bring up a good point. Baldur's Gate did deserve it.
Who knows? I don't think it's worth worrying about that much.
No.
They're
No.
popular votes, whatever that gets you.
There are people that say, well, awards don't matter. And yeah, maybe they don't. The recognition is nice for the developers, but the award, it doesn't matter what awards it gets. I'm going to play it the same amount.
Because of all this negative publicity, now more people know about the game than ever before.
Yeah.
It's almost like people who are trying to troll it and trying to bring it down are actually making it more successful in a way.
There are some people that might not play it because they heard the negativity, but I see this post on No Sodium Starfield by Gamerzilla, who said, I was lied to because Starfield actually slaps. So here, that's one sort of, if we're looking for silver lining, that's a positive thing about all the negative press is at some point, these people that heard all the negativity might try the game and go, wait a minute, what? This is a good game.
Right. Have you ever had that happen, by the way? Can you think of a game that got totally negative reviews and then you tried it and you were like, this is actually my cup of tea?
I definitely look at reviews. I don't think that reviews are the end-all, be-all, because I know that this happens where something will be well-reviewed and I don't like it, or vice versa. But I do think that the cumulative of the reviews is actually a good indicator of a game being good or not.
Okay.
Generally.
Yeah. I think
Not always,
I agree
though.
with you. I think generally it is a good indicator on games that aren't front and center in the public image or the public eye, aren't going through a meme or a trolling or, little indie games. You can
Right.
trust the reviews on those because people generally don't have a reason to go and review bomb those unless the developer did something, gross
Yeah.
or whatnot. But
Or the opposite, if the developer is a minority that a bunch of gross people don't like. I've seen that happen. But yeah, other than that, I agree that generally it's the big games that are getting bombed on.
yeah.
That's basically your point, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've beat this dead horse, so let's move on to some tips.
I love this tip. So this is a great tip for anyone unaware. I'm telling you, I get in a ship and I'm flying around. Sometimes just the HUD, that circle, sometimes it bugs me, man.
Right.
Sometimes I don't want to see it.
Yep. Looks like you're
So,
scoping on people all the time. Like you're about to snipe.
If you hold the change view button, it will actually remove the HUD temporarily, and then it will actually enter free look mode.
Oh, wow.
Where your ship continues to fly whatever direction it's going, and you can look up. If you have a good a cockpit that has the
Top
glass all the way to the top, you can look up and see whatever's up there, planet, whatnot.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's very cool. I tried this out. I thought it was really cool to be flying and then go into this free look mode and sort of look around.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I know where that button is or if I even have it mapped because I don't think I've ever done that in game.
So this would be the button that changes from your first person view to third person.
Okay, I think that's just my mouse wheel.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I can't help you there.
Well,
On the
yeah,
Xbox.
so then if I do it while I'm in my spaceship, then I should be able to see that happen.
Yeah, well, on Xbox, it's the window button on the left, which would have been select back in the day. And you, but yeah, so you tap that, you click it to, switch.
Yeah.
But if you hold it, that's what takes the HUD away.
That's a good tip.
And you can bet that I will be using that if I make more of those videos coming up.
That's going to give you a nice little extra cinematic effect.
Yep.
Yeah, Ambriel in our Discord had a nice tip. They said, thanks to Barrett, I've been able to upgrade that power parallel self twice in multiple playthroughs. I'm currently on NG plus 6, but I have parallel self at 10, level 10. I usually collect all the powers and then travel with Barrett long enough to get him to ask for help with that mission. So I usually find that temple first, and then when Barrett asks, the game just places the same temple on a different planet. So they're actually able to go and find that specific power that they like over and over to level it up.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I have not gotten that power at all.
Really? Okay.
I need to.
What does that do? Because I haven't gotten it either.
It basically brings like a clone of yourself into battle temporarily.
Yeah.
So there's two of you fighting.
That's exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah. Some of you are going to be like, oh, you're saying it wrong. All right. Calm down. Duane hasn't gone far enough.
What am I
forward.
saying wrong?
So just... No, you're not saying anything wrong. I said something wrong on purpose. From what I've heard, you could have you, and then you cast that power, and then if Barrett is playing with you, your companion, he'll cast his power, and then there's 4 of you fighting enemies.
Awesome. Yeah, speaking of people in our Discord, like Ambriel, Hoodoo Vane came up with the idea of big game hunting list, which I thought was a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Basically a top 10 of the scariest, meanest, coolest looking fauna in the game. So you know what we did, Michael? Or do you know what you did?
Do I know what I did? What did I do? What? No, I blacked out. Please tell me what I did.
You created the big game hunting channel in our Discord. So now, if you want to come in there and post pictures of exotic fauna that you find, that is the place to do it.
Yeah, we want to build this ultimate list of like the 10 craziest, most dangerous fauna in the game. And like, yeah, it's such a community effort because we've already, just in today, like I've seen people posting pictures of creatures that I haven't seen yet.
Me too.
It's so crazy.
And I think, it started out in my mind as like, oh, this is all going to be like big, scary, mean creatures. But I feel like anyone can post any cool creature in there that they want.
Yeah.
For the enjoyment of the rest of us. Like, there's a lot of really cool little things running around out there.
Yeah.
So why not?
Once we have a nice list, it'd be fun to make a video, the 10 biggest and scariest, and then do the 10 cutest.
Aww.
There you go, 10 cutest. The 10 smallest.
There you go.
So
the possibilities are endless.
That'd be fun.
Thank you, Hoodoo Vane, for that idea.
Yeah, this is a great idea. Actually, the fauna is one of my favorite things in the game.
Yeah, it's really cool. I haven't been to that many planets, but I never know what I'm going to get when I land. So it's kind of exciting.
Talking about details, talking about atmosphere. One detail that somebody pointed out, they noticed that the sun, they were on a moon. They noticed that the sun on one side, the star that was near, that system, was going down. So they were getting sort of like a sunset, but it's a moon, so it's like, it's black sky. And then they start to notice that the whole like land that they're on starts to be bathed more in this orange glow. And then they saw that from on the other side, it was the gas giant, this orange gas giant that was opposite of the star.
Right.
Was coming up. And it was coming up and just bathing the land that they were on that moon, in this orange glow. And that's such a cool like lighting trick that the game does.
The lighting and effects in this game are amazing. You made your own meme that was like, Starfield? No. Photography simulator? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, this game has really become photography simulator for me.
do you follow a bunch of space content on social media?
Yeah.
Like not related to Starfield, like just, like Hubble or James Webb or, like
Yeah, I love that stuff.
ESA, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. This one's really cool, Michael. So Jonathan Dotson found a food truck in space.
What?
Chunks to Go.
Really?
Yes, Chunks to Go
No.
is a ship that you can run into in the far reaches of the Starfield universe. If you hail them, or if you answer their hail, then you can buy some chunks.
Oh my gosh. I did not know about this at all.
Food trucks in space.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? That's like just another little detail that, and it's kind of I guess it's kind of a spoiler. It'd be fun to find that on your own. So
Sure, it would, but I think that's perfect for this podcast.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about when we say that, like, people that think that the world isn't built out enough haven't explored it enough. This crazy stuff is out there. When I'm playing, I feel like I got to start keeping notes of like little things like that I found.
yeah.
That, like, they're not coming to mind at the moment, but like there's little moments where I just go, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I know what they're referencing here. Wow, a food truck in space. I can't wait. I got to find this. Well, this last week in the Starfield Adventure Club, which is our club in the Discord, you can click on the link in the show notes and come on by. We all go to the same planet and we explore and we share our findings and our stories. And this last week we were actually on Cassiopeia 1, which is actually famous for being the location of one of the crewmates' sort of their story mission. So it's a well-known place.
Yeah, but a lot of people go and do that mission, right? And they don't really truly explore the planet. Like,
Right.
I find that on the, artifact planets, I'm not really exploring those. I'm just going, getting the artifact, and then I'm moving on.
But yeah, it's been fun seeing everyone sort of go back and explore this place.
Yeah, if you want to find out more about the Starfield Adventure Club, pop into our Discord. Link is in the description here on the YouTube video. And we love to have fresh blood. So come on in and read all the awesome stories and hang out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we like to pick a favorite contributor of the week each week and send a free coffee mug that is emblazoned with one of our two Starfield Adventure Club logos.
Absolutely. We also have the Drive channel, which is shipbuilding. And this week, the current challenge is putting the engines in front, which I thought was a super fun idea because you get a lot of these like pod racer style ships.
Yeah.
So there's some cool possibilities. Come in and show us your ship design with the engines in the front.
Yeah, I thought this was really fun. Like right away I saw some just really cool different looking designs. And yeah, the first thing I thought of also was pod racing.
You know what I want to do? I want to do a small ship with like a single engine up front somehow, just the smallest one I can make.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
I think that would be fun. I have to check to see if it's on the list, but so we've got Baz and Oliver that are sort of running this week to week, and I remember that was the one thing that I said right at the beginning. I said I want tiny ships, like more than anything, I want tiny ships. So that's probably coming up at some point.
You had a Micro Machines collection when you were a kid, didn't you?
I did.
Those are
I
awesome.
did.
Bring back Micro Machines.
Yeah, those are really cool.
And Thundercats. Why isn't there a Thundercats movie? Talk about things that slap.
Yeah, I was one of those kids in high school that had the black T-shirt with the Thundercats logo on it.
Heck yeah.
I had to explain it quite a bit.
That intro and that outro with the guitar solos, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
All right, well, I want to thank our friends of the show. These are people who are contributing to us by being members of our YouTube channel. There are some benefits. You get to see some videos early, and it also helps us get those coffee mugs out to you guys. So if you are a friend of the show, thank you so much. And if you want to be a friend of the show, just go to our YouTube page and you'll see it there.
Absolutely. And thanks to everyone that listens on Spotify, Apple, and thanks to those watching on YouTube. All links are provided in the show notes below.
An extra special thanks for all the comments and feedback. You've seen Duane and I, if you're in the Discord, you've seen us be very active there. Come and chat with us. If you have a comment, suggestion, or an in-game story to share, you can also just leave a comment on our YouTube page.
And if you like the show, consider dropping a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app.
Yes, thanks for traveling the Starfield with us. Make sure you subscribe because we will be back for more next week.
We'll see ya.